Hey everybody, it's Raph from FloClimbing, and for this next segment of our gear spotlight, we are joined by Obe Carrion. He is a MadRock representative and the designer of the Redline shoe, which is our focal point for this episode. Obe is going to be telling us a little bit about the shoe, what went into the process of him designing it, and why it's one of the most badass shoes that's out there. Obe, when I opened the box, the first thing that I could think of is that it's just sexy. It's a good-looking shoe.
Yeah, well, I put a lot of time into the design, and a lot of what's in this shoe are the things that I've been inspired by as a kid growing up. Coming from Allentown, Pennsylvania, inner city, the most coveted shoe that none of us could ever afford was a pair of Air Jordans. So that is where a lot of the color detail came from. The feel is really inspired by my youth and a shoe that I always wanted that I could never get. But one of my goals was to make like the first $200 pair of shoes and have all the performance and all the technology packed into a shoe. Even opening up a box is an experience, and I put a lot of detail into that.
Let's talk a little bit about the different parts of the shoe. So the one thing that draws me in the most about this is probably on the back side of the shoe you have that red rubber that just kind of wraps around the heel and comes up directly to the laces.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming that there's technology behind even that.
Yeah, there's a lot of thought put into that. So basically what this is called is our heel clutch. The theory behind this is that it's going to work like a chin strap. And with the lacing, you're going to have the ability to control the tension in the heel.
All right, well, let's move a little further forward into the shoe. So the next thing that stands out is right on the midsole. It looks like there's another piece of rubber that's just kind of like wrapping around and hugging the inside part of your foot.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting piece. It's actually called the Arch Flex, and this is an invention by Young Chu, the founder of MadRock, to allow the midsole of the foot to feel that it's hugged and to prevent any kind of air bubbles and pockets, so you're going to get a really true fit, a really snug fit.
And then right on top of it, you have the toe cap right over the big toe to allow for toe hooking, which is something that I always found really difficult with lace-up shoes.
No, absolutely. And you know, when you have something that's this downturning, and that's going to provide that much performance on small dime-sized edges, especially for some really hard bouldering or some hard, limestone routes, you're not going to have the ability to traditionally toe hook like you would maybe like a slipper or something or so. But we did provide enough to give you a little something.
Aesthetically, I mean, the thing that stands out the most is definitely, the top of the shoe. You have this, the perforated mesh, and it looks like there's something shiny going on up there.
Yeah, there's some style for sure.
And is that it? Is it all style, or is there actually something to that?
No, the thing about that is that yes, it is all style, but it just happens to be something to it as well. When we have synthetic uppers, a lot of stigma that goes along with it is that it doesn't breathe. So what we did was we perforated it. I tested a bunch of pairs of shoes and I was like, you know what? I love it when I put my foot into it and it breathes, but I lose it. It stretches a lot. So what we did was we put a silicone frame on the top of it, and what that does is that minimizes the amount of stretch that the perforated upper is gonna do naturally.
So when you open up the shoe, the first thing that I really notice on the inside is the tongue. It looks way different than anything else I've ever seen in a climbing shoe.
Yeah, so just continuing the theme about making the shoe very breathable, we decided to use a molded mesh for the tongue, which kind of conforms and it maintains shape, but also maintains breathability. The cool thing about this tongue also, characteristic that it has, is that it has elastic sewn on the side of each side of the tongue, and the concept with that is to try to maintain positioning for your foot. So for example, I borrowed that idea from soccer shoes and basketball shoes, where when you're cutting really fast or you're making a quick move, it's really important for the athlete to make sure that their foot is on top of the sole. And that's a lot like rock climbing, right? When we're standing on those dime-sized edges or any type of edges, or we're backstepping, we really want to make sure that our foot maintains that position on top of the sole. You want your shoe to fit like a glove, and you want it to work like a glove. So ultimately, that's what was the goal in designing this Redline. It's such a fine line of success and failure that, car engines, they are the best at their highest optimal performance right when they're about to break. And that's your Redline. definitely as urban as rock climbing shoes is gonna get. And I'm proud of that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
There's no.
I mean, it's
been no
about your
secret.
roots.
This
It's
is
about
who
where
I
you
am.
came from.
Yeah, this is
you
who
put
I
yourself
am.
into this shoe.
If I was a shoe, this is what I would be right here.
Right
So,
on.
yeah, it's awesome.
Well, sweet, man. That's about going to wrap it up for this edition of our Gear Spotlight. Once again, we're here with Obe Carrion, the designer of the MadRock Redline.
Give these a try. Give these a try.
I'm going to go try out my first pair of Redlines right now. We'll catch you guys again next time.